You're listening to Brand, the marketing show. With your hosts, Thomas Sterling.
But now's the time. Giddy up and go.
And Veronica St. Cyr.
So on brand, I will take it.
An unfiltered conversation on brand strategy.
That's where the best work happens.
Marketing trends.
They're keeping it relevant.
And emerging technology.
$1 billion. That's when you know you made it.
You're excited.
I'm pumped.
All right, let's kick things off.
What's up, everybody? Today on the show, we're talking about enrollment in higher ed, a category that's feeling some seismic shifts right now. It's a crowded field, and it's never been a more competitive landscape. What are your thoughts on this, V?
To prepare for this episode, I thought about shotgunning a beer, but those days are behind me. In solidarity as a UMass Amherst alum. Yeah, enrollment's one in the trenches. We're seeing like a crazy mix of strategies heavily around search, Microsoft Dynamic Search Ads, personalized AI journeys, non-branded content strategies. It's like marketing meets math. A lot of paid media going into some of what we're seeing today, and a big part of it is because a lot of education has only become more accessible with online learning.
There's also less students, and so that means all of these institutions are dealing with a different enrollment mix. Some have prestige, some have accreditation, so some of those accreditations aren't meaning as much. And today, we're going to be talking about two juggernauts in the space, Arizona State University and Southern New Hampshire University.
Ayo.
And with that, let's get into it.
It's showtime. Well, I'm back. I feel real good about myself, you know what I mean? So, without further delay.
ASU or SNHU?
I'm going to take SNHU because I thought about going there at one point. So it just feels closer to home, literally.
And we talked about this before the show, but would you go back and do it all over again? Would you go to a different school? Would you go south? Would you go warmer?
I had the quintessential college experience. I ran a corrupt house council regime as the president of my 22-floor building my sophomore year. I wouldn't change a thing. No regrets.
All right. Well, especially not wanting to head south, I can see why you didn't pick Arizona State University.
Too hot.
A storied school. A story that goes back to 1885.
I did not know that.
But a school that has been notoriously known as a party school. And in 2014, under President Michael Crow's leadership, completely reinvented itself.
Yeah. Didn't they in 2002 win #1 party school in the country by Playboy?
A certain small magazine. Yes.
Talk about like some brand reputation work that needed to be done by our dear friend Michael.
Well, actually, Michael Crow came on the scene that same year. So
Coincidence? I think not.
I imagine he had an idea for what he wanted to do. But 2014, rewinding, they reinvented themselves as the new American University. Again, not sure the nomenclature there, but it was a research-driven, scalable approach to sort of rethinking how they would present the university. And it debuted some interesting messaging around democratizing education and in many ways set them up for what has been they play towards reaching students online. If we break down their enrollment and their scale, why we're even talking about them, they are huge. 194,000 students annually across in-person and online. And what percentage does online make up? Well, 79,000 enroll in online alone. So this speaks to what is playing out in higher ed, which is the dichotomy between selling the actual physical, we've got the best campus, we've got access to community, this is the place that you will spend your time and meet your future peers.
And you find yourself for a lot of people.
And find yourself.
Yeah,
but now a lot of people are finding themselves on the Zoom screen. Bump and a bump, not as exciting.
When you get your diploma, does it say ASU or does it say New American?
They must. I mean, they're future forward on everything else, but it must be a carrier pigeon.
It's just so it just is cool because if you think about it, with the volume of students online, why does it matter that the university is named after a state that you're never going to maybe even physically go to.
I don't know. That must be a question mark for some when they're in their early consideration. But then you see U.S. News and World Report just ranked them number 4 for bachelor programs recently. Wow. So it's not just a great demand engine. It's also that they are delivering on outcomes for students. And students today, parents today, they're expecting more and more. They're expecting that they're going to get a job. Everyone's worried about what's happening with white-collar jobs, jobs in general, AI, etc. And so, yes, the pretty university and the beautiful brochure, students are like, yeah, yes, and what's going to happen? Notable campaigns, Changing Futures. This is a new campaign. And again, it speaks to their focus around helping create more access, learning for everyone. Strategic initiatives, figuring out how they rank for employability amongst public schools, and then other campaigns related to their commitments, what they believe in, because so many students right now, prospective students, they want to understand your values. They want to understand where you're headed and where you're going. And so that academic rigor and prestige maybe doesn't get you as far anymore.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing the younger generation care more about even the investments that their academic institutions are even making in social causes that they may agree with or not agree with, right? It's been this like battleground for free speech of like the young people to figure out what people care about at that age. And they're also investing a lot in wanting to be more of a known research university, which when you think about going from getting a number 1 party school ranking maybe 25 years ago, all of a sudden seeing these kind of goals and shift, it's not something that happened overnight. It was years of really hard work and a lot of smart marketing, which we love. But God, it's crazy to see those numbers.
And I do think across all of higher ed, there is a little bit of a reckoning happening because not every school has positioned themselves very well for this digital future. A lot of them are struggling to kind of figure that out. And this is an institution, this is an organization that's figured out how to do it both ways, right? Let's talk about Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, founded in 1932 as an accounting and secretarial school, they have made a dramatic pivot to the point where you have this, Southern New Hampshire. Think about how small New Hampshire is as a state, even population-wise, and then Southern New Hampshire. So like we're even making the small state smaller on this global scale with all the institutions and collegiate choices that are available for students. And they are known as one of the strongest online adult education programs in the country. They actually launched their long distance learning programs in the 90s. So when we talk about being an early adopter of this idea of a more remote, accessible education, they kind of blaze that trail. President Paul J. LeBlanc from 2003 to 2024 was a huge part of accelerating this shift and really made them one of the fastest growing universities in the country.
They've captured the moment and they've presented themselves, and at the end of the day, they're interacting with lots of people that don't have a connection to New Hampshire and aren't even really thinking about that, but they're thinking about how they're presenting online.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when you look at ASU's numbers, they still have a massive on-campus student body, still a pretty big learning pool. The difference when it comes to Southern New Hampshire University between on-site and online is insane. They serve, as of today, 190,000 students. 180,000 of them are online, which is like you have this like hidden student body around you if you're somebody who attends college there on campus. A huge part of it is leaning into flexibility, accessibility, affordability, but non-traditional learners. When we go to their typical marketing strategy, Southern New Hampshire University sites pull an estimated 1.3 million in monthly organic visitors. Which is, again, we're thinking Southern little New Hampshire, thanks to content that is always changing. It always answers career and degree questions. They've done a lot of traditional TV. I don't know if you've seen a lot of TV and radio ads, a lot of digital advertising, and always focused on how do we get this name beyond New England. Because if you are in New England and you're maybe a young person looking at a college, it's likely it will come up in your search. But when you have this massive of a digital footprint, I mean, that is a big opportunity for you to kind of expand your geographical demo as you're launching any of this media.
SNHU also does some interesting things from a marketing and campaign perspective, and you can tell by the campaigns where they're focusing their time. New Year Motivations 2026, again, targeted to students that are maybe setting the New Year routines. What do they plan to do? What are they thinking? It's Never Too Late, a campaign that came out last year in April. They're targeting a population of folks that, yes, are the traditional undergraduate seekers, but then all these extension programs, all these continuing education programs where people want to learn degrees, maybe they're still at work. Let's face it, we're bringing education to people, meeting the customer, meeting the end user where they are, and that format is shifting. And ASU just had record-setting enrollment for the fall 2025 period, up 5% year over year, an estimated 43,000 almost new students.
And if you go to ASU, you'll be able to do that percentage equation really quickly.
And you can party with all of them. Oh, never mind. They're clearly onto something. I wanted to play a piece of the Learning for Everyone campaign that talks about their charter, their reason for being, why they're here, and how they show up.
ASU as an institution is its charter. Everything we say, everything we do, it is a drive to better the lives of those around us. The world is changing at an unbelievable rate. The charter embodies what we need in the future.
There's so many people being told that you can't go to school because you have a kid, or you can't go to school because the system's not set up for you.
It doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter your personality or your passion. ASU includes everyone.
What I love about the marketing, what I love about the message, is they're breaking down the barriers. They're breaking down the self-limiting talk that maybe the prospective student is considering. But they're also showing what they think the university is all about.
Yeah. Speaking about Southern New Hampshire University's strategy with marketing, Seth Odell is a specialist in higher ed who is credited, he's worked with UCLA, many more universities, but he's credited with the bus commercial, which is a bit infamous. His idea helped Southern New Hampshire University grow from 7,000 to 70,000 students. Woo. And I also brought a clip, if you'd like to roll it, Thomas.
At Southern New Hampshire University, we're committed to your success. That's why we hit the road again, to meet some of the 50,000 students who study online with us, to hear their stories, to celebrate their success.
SNHU, see yourself succeed.
Yeah, a little bit older now, but growing from 7,000 to 70,000 students is quite the feat. And we look at what their enrollment numbers are today at almost 200,000. And a lot of it is credited to some of the strategies like this campaign from Seth Odell, which I have another clip of him talking about this.
One of the reasons why the work that I did hopefully had an impact was it was like one of the last pieces that was like missing. And the reality is the higher education industry is like really crowded. We had to create marketing campaigns that would cut through the noise and people would like, candidly give a shit about. And the work, I think, if I was to distill it, Southern New Hampshire, was a couple things. The first one was that after the first campaign I did there, everyone after, which was, I did, I think, 34, 35 commercials. After the first campaign, everything used real students and real alumni. And that was intentional. So my whole tenure, we always casted real students because, authenticity was one of the most important things. And we really focused on celebrating student success. And you don't have to overthink it sometimes as an advertiser.
Thank you, Seth. It is very cool to talk about his campaign focus strategy and how they had an insight about we tried this campaign, which is so much of what marketing is, right? It's like testing, seeing what works, optimizing from there, and then figuring out how much of an impact it had for the brand to cast real people, carrying them through today where the strategy is where, yes, they're still doing traditional advertising. They're still relying on, of course, building campaigns. But SNHU is a standout case study for their search first strategy. Their organic traffic strategy owns non-branded queries like, how do I get a nursing degree? So someone just Googles that, right? Looks for that, asks ChatGPT for that. That's what they're focused on trying to capture. They recently expanded their use of an AI-powered support tool, which they affectionately call Penny, which uses conversational AI to support student advising, answer questions. Since this rollout, Penny has engaged with millions of student messages and has helped advisors focus on higher impact interactions.
And you can text Penny.
It's crazy.
Like you can have a text conversation.
It's just crazy because like in college, I'm remembering it was hard to find like a career advisor or a student advisor. They had limited time, limited office hours.
Was that the best name choice? I feel like I would just text Penny and use the side door of like, where's the discount, Penny? How do I save a penny?
I know. She's just, yeah, she seems a little, I don't want to call her cheap. I don't know her like
I'm
that.
sure she's great.
Yeah, I'm sure she's a nice gal. But again, it's them constantly thinking about how can we be at the forefront of continuing to evolve, because it's not like we made it. We have this great student base. They're just going to keep coming back. Obviously, it's something they need to build on.
It's cool because it layers right on top of their already strong presence on search. Well, if we had to talk about other brands, we got to talk about the University of Phoenix. We talked about 2 brands today that have kept the signposts in the ground, where they're from. Phoenix is purely online. Phoenix under fire heat lately. 2019 had to settle a lawsuit ordered to pay $191 million because of deceptive ads. These ads were luring students with the promise of future job opportunities with brands like AT&T, Adobe, Twitter, Microsoft, Yahoo. A little unscrupulous behavior, if you ask me.
Yeah. Happy we asked you.
On the other side of the coin, Liberty University has taken a different approach. They have won favor by being very focused on culture and values.
And those culture and values are good Christian values. They are like, we're not about learning for all. If you want to march their hero section, no judgment on their website.
I'm feeling a little judgment.
I'm not. It's not judgment. It's hey, I'm not their target demo.
They know their audience.
I am not what they're looking for. But they're like talking about how they're so proud of like students marching for like pro-life initiatives. So it's like this very like you have all these hey, we're for everybody, general audience, like inclusion, and they're saying we're the opposite to that, and that's okay too. Students with these beliefs also should have a place to go where they feel like they're surrounded by some like-minded folks.
And they've been rewarded with a massive online enrollment engine. Again, very specific on their audience, very specific on their values, and there's a big part of the population that's focused on that.
Yeah.
And now for something completely different.
So if we had to put this to work, first would be compete on problems, not prestige. So many schools today are still focused on their rankings. And yes, that's important. Our audience cares about that. But they're looking for a lot more. And those values, those rankings may not be as important as they once were. Second, stop bidding only on your name. There's so many other ways to reach the audience, and the searchers, the visitors, those that are using Gen AI to have conversations to find the right schools, they're asking different questions, and you need to show up. Next, stop leaning all in on your location. I see so many competing universities in the same pool, all positioning themselves with beautiful cityscapes or town locations. There's so much more to your university or school than just your zip code. Next, audit your partnerships ruthlessly. If you can showcase connections with the working world, outcomes, whatever that is, or partnerships that show your beliefs, your reason for being, your connection, that can pay dividends for your prospective students. And then last would be friction is the enrollment killer. The entire process needs to be smooth. I'm talking buying a Tesla smooth. All online, no extra forms, no extra downloads. So really audit what that journey looks like. Make it frictionless. Figure out what you can do to cut things out. Understanding that everyone's mind share. People are like goldfishes today. They have such little time. And if you ask for too many steps, they're going to close the window and move on to their next thing.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
So if you had to take anything away from the show today, Veronica, what's it going to be?
It's that your university's website is not a brochure. It is an AI SEO powered conversion engine. And you need to think about it like that, because if a student is looking for information and they can't get it from you, they will get it elsewhere.
Well, mine would be, if you're a college or university struggling with enrollment, you're really struggling with brand positioning. And with that, class dismissed.
That's it for Brand to Brand. Stay tuned for more. And if you like what you heard, give us a follow. We're out of here.